Hewlett-Packard's done it, Oracle's done it, and Elon Musk of Tesla has threatened to do it a couple of times, but just filed the paperwork saying his company's move was actually complete just yesterday. I'm talking about leaving California for greener pastures in the form of lower taxes and less regulation. The president of California's Hispanic Chambers of Commerce is worried that more companies will follow that leaving lead and dismantle the state's innovation sector. Julian Kennedy is with me now live to explain. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
While so much has been made about the damage the pandemic did to businesses across the country, really across the world, you say that the trends you believe are disturbing and detrimental to the state's innovation economy actually started before COVID. When and why?
Well, I think even before the start of the pandemic, we saw a number of large tech companies, such as HP, Oracle, Tesla, start to make moves to relocate their headquarter offices to other states. The Hoover Institute said that these departures are due to rising business costs, which, reducing productivity and reducing profitability, but including tax policies, some of the regulatory policies, labor costs, litigation costs, energy and utility costs, and concerns about just an overall declining quality of life here within the state.
There are about 800,000 Hispanic-owned businesses in the Golden State. Why is the innovation sector of the economy of such interest to the Hispanic Chamber? We're talking about tech, biotech, media. Are you seeing a surge in Hispanics trying to break into these areas, and are they having trouble?
Yeah, especially with with the Latino youth population, the high labor force participation, their rapid increases in education are taking them to the tech industry areas, as well as, many of our companies are very innovative and coming up with new ideas, and they need the opportunity here in California to have those successful careers and become entrepreneurs to run their own companies. But I think, the state's attitude sometimes toward technology companies is driving those jobs and opportunities out of the state.
California has the world's 5th largest economy. The innovation economy has been alive and well and active here for 30 years. Still, you've used the word animosity to describe the state government's stance toward the entrepreneurs who create these operations. One thing you suggest is the state being more collaborative with businesses and creating compliance instead of focusing on fines. I have to be honest, most people in the public would hear something like that and think the industry is trying to get out of something. A lot of companies don't pay attention to audit reports or state recommendations until they're fined or sued. Now, PG&E is not a tech company per se, but some would see a parallel with the fines and lawsuits that it's faced after state recommendations were just ignored.
I think animosity is maybe a strong word, more of understanding. And again, back to that collaborative effort with business and getting business input. But you have to remember that California's tech industry supports probably about almost 2 million jobs throughout the state. For the broader economy, the tech sector makes up an estimated 16% of the overall state economy. And, we just feel that government ought to serve the role of really paving, promoting, and not interfering or blocking the way business is to business success, especially for our ethnic, diverse, and small businesses. Our members don't have a problem with responsible and reasonable regulations, taxes, and a fair legal system. The problem is that in recent years, there's been a serious overreach with burdensome rules and costs that many, if not most, job creators simply cannot endure, especially during this uncertain time of the COVID era. We also think that government has a golden opportunity to be more of a partner, as we've seen here during this past year, and not an adversary to the businesses here in California and across the nation. I mean, I think businesses aren't trying to get out of something other than a culture and an atmosphere that it probably has gone too far in creating hostile and unfriendly environment sometimes for business.
Okay.
We just believe that policymakers should be thinking about things that will help incentivize and encourage and grow small business success, such as tax credits, more available technical resources, and continued flow of technology and a thriving innovation economy.
Well, talking about collaboration, you just mentioned a tax credit. Collaboration with innovators that you say is lacking. What about things like the $150 million the state's put into the Cal Compete tax credit program, which is designed to create hundreds of thousands of new jobs and build new innovative infrastructure? What about something like that? That's on the books.
Well, we're very grateful to the governor and state leaders for creating the tax credit programs for both and for for before and during the pandemic. California Competes has been a great program to draw both and to both draw and retain job creators in technology and other businesses in the state. And we would just like to see more of that continue to trend towards Latino, diverse communities, ethnic communities, and small business, as well as those medium to large size businesses. We also want to be sure that businesses have a really good understanding of the tax credit program and which ones for them to apply for, how to apply for them, and how to take advantage of all they offer.
All righty. Well, we're going to have to put a pin in it there. Big topic. We hope to have you back, regardless of the fact that we can always improve. California has had the fastest growing GDP in the country for the last 5 years. Again, we hope to have you back. Thanks for sharing your insight this morning.
Thank you.